everybody, Cal Banyan here. Cal Banyan's Hypnosis, etc. If you're watching this video anywhere else, go to calbanyan.com right now, because you know why? Because right below this video on calbanyan.com, we've got additional information. Text, graphics, links, and sometimes even a special on some of our training material. So, gosh, I wonder what we're going to talk about today. Well, there's only one person that knows for sure, and that's Brenda Titus, my co-host. If you've been watching the last few podcasts, you've seen that she comes up with these topics and questions that just makes all this work. Ha! Well, let me tell you, Brenda, she is a rising star in the profession. She just received the Five Pathers Leadership Award at the Five Pathers annual reunion dinner at the National Guild of Hypnotists. She has a strong background in helping people. She was a rape and crisis intervention worker. She has a bachelor's degree in sociology. She has a master's degree in criminology. And I took her away from all that academic kind of work and got her into the world of hypnosis, where she is doing a fabulous job. Her clients love her, and hypnotists around the world are beginning to love her because she's so darn helpful. How you doing there?
I'm doing great, Cal. Thank you so much for having me today. And let me tell you all a little bit about Cal. So Cal is here as the head of the Banyan Hypnosis Center for Training and Technical Services. I hope I have that all right. I thought I'd add that today. Cal developed the 5-path hypnotherapy system, and that is the system that he trains his clients on, and the system that I work with my clients on. All of my clients go through 5-path, very systematic approach, so that I don't have to, actually when we were at the conference, I didn't have to stop and think about, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my clients on Wednesday when I get back? Because I knew on phase 1, phase 2, wherever I was, and I love the system that we do with our clients. And he also developed the 7th path self-hypnosis, mind, body, spirit approach to having your clients take what they have learned and dealt with in session and be able to take that home with them, so that they can really maximize everything that they are doing to get better and overcome whatever it is that they came to see you for. Cal's a great teacher. He can be stern. He can be hard on us, but there's a whole reason, and it's because in the end we are going to all come out of our training and be hypnotherapists, and we gotta be tough. We gotta be ready to face anything that comes our way, which actually is a really great intro to today's topic, because there are some times that, oh my gosh, some things are going to come across our desk and we're going to say, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And so I want to talk a little bit about having the guts to deal with some difficult issues, and also to know when maybe we need to ask for help or send somebody somewhere else for help as well. How's that sound, Cal?
I'm excited. This is going to be fun. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm already mulling around some ideas in my mind. And, you know, let me just say this one thing. And it always brings it home to me whenever I go to the NGH Solid Gold Weekend, or whenever I go to the NGH convention, that sometimes we're here in our little offices and we're doing these videos, but there's people, hypnotists, psychologists, counselors, doctors, all around the world that wait for these videos to come out. And Brenda, Meredith, Celeste, and I, and you know what? We're helping people we will never meet. And it's so amazing, and I feel such honor and gratitude for being in the position I am in, being to help all these people all around the world, different languages, different cultures, because of this. And it's going to live forever on the internet. We've got over 340 videos. So we're like 344, something, 345. And they're out there, and they have a life of their own. And every time that, Brenda or Celeste or Elron, who's done some co-hosting on the show, everybody, you bring up these topics, we give it our very best shot at explaining it in 20 minutes or less. Sometimes it's a little bit longer, especially if Brenda's on the show. Okay, but these videos are not meant to be a complete hypnosis certification course or a treatise on a subject, but just to get these nuggets out, 1 or 2 or 3 nuggets that you can use in the session next week. And wow, thank you, God, for letting me do this. Okay, that's off my chest. Let's roll forward.
Thank you for sharing that, Cal. I think, it is so true that we are very blessed to have this opportunity to share with the field, and they kind of live on. Our video is out there, and there they are. And sometimes we may re-hit a topic that maybe we have new information on, or just new, more in-depth questions. And so actually, as I was flying out to the conference, I was catching up on some episodes with you and Meredith, and you were talking about practicing positive, unconditional regard with your clients, about really meeting them on their level. What are you bringing to the table? And I'm just open to helping you in the best way that I can. And I really enjoyed that, but it also inspired me to ask you some more questions about that, because sometimes we have people who come and they sit down in our chair and they're going to bring some issues that are going to challenge us, and maybe make us uncomfortable or challenge us. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that today, Cal, about, first kind of starting with that, okay, somebody calls and even before you ever even schedule a session and you're realizing, oh, I don't know about this. So I wanted to ask you some tips on, what do? You challenge yourself, you go for it. What should we do when we have that first call that we're not so sure about?
You help me out a little bit here, and help the audience understand, what do you mean by not so sure about?
Well, I have had a few people, as my name is getting out there, I'm not getting the weight loss, I'm not getting the general confidence, I'm getting my wife is dying with cancer kinds of calls. And I have to stop and say, whoa, that's one element of, oh my gosh, can I rise to this challenge? The other side of that is also, I've dealt with people who were doing things in their personal life that brought up some of my own issues. Best way to put it, people who were not terribly good people, so to speak, in the grand scheme of things, were committing crimes or things like that, or had committed crimes. And I had to really kind of stop and, think about that. Does that make sense?
Okay, so if I'm getting this more clearly, is that, so someone is coming in for something that you find to be repugnant or morally wrong,
or just hits my nerves that I don't know if I can expose myself to, like the cancer patient.
Okay. Well, I think you're talking about a lot of different things here.
When you
talk about positive, unconditional regard, we're really talking about, are we judging the client negatively? And so we start talking about, okay, this person, can I work with someone to help them with cancer, and I don't like cancer? Well, that's really a slightly different topic, and we can go there later if you want. But here's what I want to get out about this, and that when I was working at the North Dakota State Hospital as a master's level psychologist, when you go there as part of a clinical placement in a PhD program, we'd send 2 or 3 of the students would go to the state hospital, some other grad students would go to another location, and so on. Well, I went to work at the North Dakota State Hospital, and there was one of the graduate students was about 5'2" and about 110 pounds. Well, he got sent into a very safe place to work, and me, I'm a big guy, big, husky, burly guy, and I always have been, and so I was assigned the lockdown ward, and that's where the patients at the hospital were all to some degree dangerous. to themselves and to others. And they have a history of hurting themselves or hurting other people, and it might be acting out in a sexual way. It might be something very minor like theft. It might be just obnoxious behavior. But we also had people who've abused children. I worked with a murderer who would happily murder again. Was glad that he had murdered this person. And how do you work with people like that? It's people who are doing things that are so morally repugnant. And this is my answer to that, is that I'm going to start off with mental illness and then get to our normal everyday people and normal everyday problems, is I realized that it was me and my client, this mentally ill person, working against the disease. That my client was not essentially a bad person. What their behavior was a symptom of a disease. And so the enemy was not my client. The repugnant thing was not my client. It was the disease and its symptoms. That enabled me to sit across from someone who was a murderer and be able to work with them in a entirely, from the point of view of positive, unconditional regard. And to just only feel positive towards this person. And to have that regard not be conditional on their past behavior, their current behavior, or their future behavior. Because what was causing or having a profound effect on their behavior was the disease. Okay. So now that was in a very clinical environment. How about with clients who are predominantly normal everyday people with normal everyday problems, and they're going home and they're blaming their wife, or they're having fights with their wife, or they're kicking the dog, or maybe they're spending 3 hours a day in front of the computer screen masturbating, and you find that morally repugnant. And how do you do that? How do you work with that person with positive, unconditional regard? Well, one of the things that I think I do that breaks through with clients is our clients come to us almost as a last act of desperation. Nothing else has worked. And they're so frustrated. And with regard to the problem, they may be feeling hopeless and helpless, and kind of a normal, natural result of their struggle, a kind of non-clinical depression. And what I'll say to them is, I think that anyone that had been through exactly what you've been through would be pretty much feeling and doing the same thing that you're doing. So once again, I put the problem, the underlying cause, as the enemy, as the problem. That I have this person who's basically good, who's come to me in good faith saying, help me with this thing that's hurting me and hurting my life and causing me to behave in ways that, to them may be morally repugnant or self-defeating. And so what I do is I take the problem and I put it out in front of us and as on one side. And then myself and my client, we're on the other side, going to work against the problem together. Now, for me as a hypnotherapist, I understand the problem to be generally one of three things. They either have a limiting belief, they either have a painful emotion inside them that they don't like, or, what's the other thing? So we got the emotion that's painful, we've got the limiting belief, or they've got just a bad habit, like a program that's running inside of them. And together with the hypnosis skills and their desire to get well, we can overcome these things so that they can be free to be the person they really are. And I really do believe that people are basically good and lovable, and that there's really nothing wrong with us as individuals. We just pick up these negative programs, these painful emotions that we try to manage through crazy behaviors like eating too much, drinking too much, smoking too much, doping too much, and all these other kind of too much behaviors. Does that help?
Thank you, Cal. That is exactly, I think, what I needed to hear and so many other people needed to hear. So I really appreciate touching on that again, because I think, looking at it from that perspective just opens you up so much more, and it's very much like when we talk about, just coming from a place of love as well, where instead of, giving any judgment, meeting them on their level. And at the same time, I definitely approach in my life when a client comes to me and I realize I have to take that deep breath and say, oh, I'm not so sure about this issue or this type of thing. I know that they're there to give me a lesson. And I've always been very thankful for the work that I've done with those clients. And, I recently had a client that came in and I thought, wow, that are some interesting things that we're going to deal with. And it was so gratifying, and it actually healed me as well to be able to help someone else on such difficult issues, and knowing that I was just giving them this great opportunity to get help and never judge. So thank you, Cal. That definitely helps me, and I'm sure it will help a lot of other people as well. So thank you for that.
You're very, very welcome. And as
Yeah,
you're talking, it brings up one other kind of facet to this discussion, and that is, if you're a hypnotist, and with what I just said, or any kind of helping professional, and you can buy into what I just said, but you find that you're still having trouble, and that the issue that they're bringing up, or the behaviors that they're talking about, you have to ask yourself, am I experiencing an emotional response here that is too much? Am I overreacting, or is it pretty much in line with how anyone would feel here? If you are experiencing a too much behavior, if someone has sadness or grief issues, and you're getting too sad, such that it's getting in the way of you being able to work as you best could with that individual, or if you find out that they've got a abusive parent and it's bringing up your abusive parent issues, or so on and so forth, then you guys say, am I feeling too much here? Am I overreacting? And if so, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your advancement in the profession to go see someone like a really good hypnotherapist, or learn 7-path self-hypnosis, and do the work, get that clarity, so that you can be with the client, 100% with the client, not with yourself. Because when you're over-resonating emotionally with the client's situation, then you're not with the client. Your attention is being divided between the client's needs and your own needs. So you cannot do the best work for your clients unless you've sought out and done the best work on yourself. How's that?
Exactly. And actually something definitely that I wanted to mention as well is, part of our job is to be sure that we are in a really good place ourselves every day. When we talk about, we have to put our air mask on before we can put on somebody else, and we've got to be sure that we are in the best place to be able to deal with things. And so, if you are realizing that a client's issues are resonating with you or touching some nerves, definitely an important moment to do some work for yourself, either doing some self-hypnosis or going and seeing another hypnotherapist to really work through those issues. So thank you for that reminder. Definitely.
Beautiful. Let me get one little commercial thing in here.
Yes.
And that is, everyone knows we've got this October class coming up. It's our NGH-approved Banyan Hypnosis Certification Super Course in October 14th through the 25th. And it's 10 days, 2 days off for a break on the weekend. right in the middle. But not everybody knows that you can take our course, it's limited seating, off-site on the internet. And this is not some kind of watching through a webcam kind of thing. We've got permanently placed high-def cameras in our classroom. The entire classroom is mic'd. We've got the computers and technicians at the back of the classroom that totally run the show, and you are really interactive. You're just like somebody in the class. You do supervised practice, and the reason we did this is we know that there's people around the world that want to get this high-level quality training, unsurpassed, but they just can't get here. There was a lady at the convention. She's got a mom that lives with her that is about to turn 100 years old, and she could no longer just leave and come to Tustin, California. There needs to be someone there 24/7, and she's part of that caregiving team, and so she's very excited about being able to take the class from her office or from her home and live interactive. Now, there was another lady, she just, she's about to have a baby, and she wants to also have a backup plan, not just the one business that she's in. She wants to have hypnosis. It's more important now that she's going to have a baby to have that backup plan, and she wants to take our certification course. And there's another option, to take it live online along with the on-site class. So wasn't that cool having the off-site students?
Yes, it's definitely adds a whole new thing. I'm learning to teach to a room and to the screens as well when I come in and visit and help you out with giving feedback and talking to your students. But it's definitely a great opportunity for people who can really dedicate that time and space to sit at their computers and learn with the group in that way. Yes.
If you're thinking about taking the class live online, then you need to get a hold of us sooner than later, because our technicians are going to meet with you to make sure online that your computer's set up right and that you know how to log on, and so that the technology becomes invisible. You know how to use it. It's very simple, but you do have to go through an introductory phase. We have to make sure that your internet connection is up to speed and that kind of thing, and that you know how to ask questions, because you raise your hand, I see it right there on the screen, and I can say, Edith, in Mississippi, you got a question? She asks a question, everybody in the class hears it. In fact, I can say to the class, anyone want to add to my answer? And they can talk to Edith in Mississippi just as easy as I can. What a great time to be alive, I'll tell you what. All right, wrap it up.
All right, well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope to see you in the future out here at Tustin or on Cal's little computer screen. Being an online student, I will never stop singing the praise of 5-Path and 7-Path and Cal as being the person who brought it to all of us and the leadership that he has given to all of us. So I appreciate being here today and over the last few weeks, and being able to be a part of this great field and being a part of the future. So thank you all very much. I am Brenda Titus, Brenda at ochypnotherapy.com if you'd like to send me an email. I'm also on Facebook as either OC Hypnotherapy or Healing Path Hypnosis if you want to check me out over there. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great few weeks until I'm back.
All right, well, we'll look forward to seeing you come back probably in about 4 weeks or so. And I tell you what, I hear murmurs at the convention of, I wish I could be on the Banyan Hypnosis Center, Hypnosis Etc. show. And you never know. We could get some new talent on the show. But right now, I'm so excited to work with Meredith and with Brenda. They do this for no pay. They do it just for the love of the profession. And gosh, I'm honored to be a part of it. Hey, so that wraps it up. Please, if you're not on calbanyan.com, watch our videos there. Please become a VIP member so you can have instant access to all the videos by title and, just a click away. Anything you want that we've covered. That's it. I'm going to go rest my throat and go have a great weekend. Happy Hypno Tuesday, everybody. And bye for now. Cal Banyan. Over and out.
This recording is the property of Cal Banyan and the Banyan Hypnosis Center for Training and Services, Incorporated. All rights reserved, for private use only, may not be duplicated without permission. For contact information, go to www.hypnosiscenter.com.